You know that strange moment when you're going about your day and suddenly an embarrassing memory from years ago pops into your mind? Maybe something awkward you said in a conversation, a joke that landed badly, or a moment where you misread a situation. And for some reason, it still makes you cringe, even years later. Most people assume it's just overthinking, that the brain is simply replaying something awkward for no real reason. But the explanation might be more interesting than that. Because those sudden memories often appear when the mind is quietly processing something deeper about social experiences and about ourselves. You might notice this happening in very ordinary moments. You're taking a shower, walking somewhere, or lying in bed, and out of nowhere, the memory returns. The feeling is quick but sharp, almost like your brain briefly pulls you back into that exact moment. And if you've ever noticed yourself doing this, you're not alone. People who pay attention to human behavior often start noticing how strangely specific these memories are. Not just big life events, but tiny social moments most people would probably forget. And this is where it becomes more interesting. Some people experience these memories because their brain stores socially uncomfortable moments more vividly. It treats them almost like lessons, small reminders of how social situations work. For others, the memory appears because the brain is constantly trying to refine how we present ourselves to other people. It quietly reviews past interactions, looking for things it might adjust next time. Then there are people whose minds simply replay moments that once carried strong emotion. Embarrassment, awkwardness, or vulnerability tend to leave deeper marks in memory than neutral experiences. But the part most people misunderstand is what these memories are actually doing. In everyday life, they often show up after social growth. Someone who's become more self-aware might suddenly remember an awkward moment from years ago, not because they're still stuck on it, but because they now understand the situation differently. A comment that once seemed normal suddenly looks a little awkward in hindsight. And strangely, that realization can mean the mind has already learned something from it. What's fascinating is that the brain isn't replaying the moment to punish you. It's replaying it because emotional memories are powerful teachers. From a psychological perspective, the brain tends to store socially uncomfortable moments with extra detail because they help us navigate future relationships. They become small reference points for understanding how people react, how conversations unfold, and how we fit into social spaces. And if you've ever caught yourself suddenly remembering something awkward from years ago, there's usually a deeper reason behind it. It often means your mind is quietly reflecting on who you used to be compared to who you've become. Because embarrassment, in many ways, only appears when we've developed enough awareness to see our past behavior differently, which means those memories aren't always signs of overthinking. Sometimes they're signs of growth. At a deeper level, human beings are constantly trying to understand their place in social groups, how they're seen, how they're understood, and how they belong. And the mind keeps little records of moments that shaped that understanding. So maybe the real question isn't why those embarrassing memories suddenly appear years later. Maybe the more interesting question is what they quietly reveal about how much you've changed since then. And once you start noticing that, you begin to see those moments a little differently. Sometimes they're simply reminders that the person you are today understands the world in a way the past version of you didn't yet.